こんにちは。私は Z です。私は日本語を勉強しています。And I want to show you what I have learned and the resources that I have been using. One of my favorite apps was an app called Bunpo. It was a really good app, it was really helpful, and I'm still currently using it even 3 months into learning Japanese. I like the options, I like the quiz, I like the pictures and the audio, the choices to show the furigana or the romanji if you need to, and I just think it's really convenient and helpful. The only con I would say I had was probably that if you missed a question in the quiz, you'd have to redo it. The app I used was Lingodeer. It was a really helpful app. As you can probably see, I've really just started using this app. And you can do a bunch of languages. You can do Japanese without the script if you wanted to, so it's not just Japanese. You have the travel workbook or the travel phrase book, which I think is really helpful to common phrases that people say and people use in real life conversations. The lessons are short and easy. You can do them in 10 minutes, one lesson. So if you didn't have time, you could do 1 lesson a day or 2 lessons a day, and then you're making progress. If you've been all over the internet looking for how to self-teach yourself Japanese, then you've probably heard of the Genki textbook and workbook. As you can probably see, I have these as PDFs. Actually, I didn't buy the physical books, and so I just read the textbook, read the examples and all that, and I think it's really helpful. Sometimes the words or stuff like that, the description isn't really clear to me, but if I just take a second to read it over and over and over, it kind of begins to make sense. It explains things in a pretty simple way for me. I think this is really good for a beginner. You should probably get the beginner book though. I'm not sure if the orange one, which is the one I have, is the beginner book, but you should start with the first one or whatever your level is and learn. The Genki workbook is basically the Genki textbook. You study the textbook, you answer the questions. I really love the first page where it has the pictures and then you have to write what they're saying. That was really helpful for me. Since it's a PDF, what I actually have is a little folder that I have papers in, so I write down the page of the questions I'm answering. I write down the question, then I write down the answer in Japanese, or I write down the furigana and the romanji, so that it's clear to me what I'm reading, so that if I take a break and then come back and I'm reading over my book, I know why I answered this, what this means. The textbook also has kanji at the bottom, so it teaches you practice kanji. I haven't reached that side, the end of the book yet. I'm pretty sure there's also an answer sheet, so you make sure all your answers are correct somewhere. I don't have it currently because, as I said, I'm not done with the workbook. The last on this list for this particular video is Tofugu.com, and I absolutely love this website because it's really helpful, and also the art is really pretty. I just love the art style. And not only does it help you learn Japanese, it also teaches you about Japanese culture and things that people do normally in Japan that would not be known for you, so that's also really helpful. They also have a podcast, which is really cool, and they release articles, and you can read these, you can try to understand. The Japanese grammar as well is really helpful. There's all sorts of stuff on Japanese grammar, Japanese culture, Japanese language. So yeah, that's really cool, and this website is pretty cool. Now obviously there's going to be more websites, but I can't fit everything into this video, so. Now in relation to my progress, I'm doing pretty well. I use Notion. I have a Notion page titled Japanese that I have my resources on, so websites that I use, I have them linked there. I have activities that I use. I found some little quizzes online. I also do something called a daily journal, which is actually recommended, where you write a page or something a day in your journal in your target language, which is for me Japanese, and it really helps you kind of grasp what you're learning, try to understand. I've just started writing down some vocabulary. I also have a notebook, a little notebook that I use for my Japanese, but obviously I can't fit everything in there, so I also have Notion, so I have some vocabulary on there. Keynotes to remember is like grammar structures, grammar rules, things like that. I would say Notion helps me keep my ideas organized and everything. Secondly, I have a little folder that I have papers in, and this is where I do most of my learning. So I have the katakana, the hiragana on the front pages, like the first pages, they have their own sections, the suhon and the dakon, and I just have like the small hiragana, the small katakana, that's at the front. And then we have words for like things, and then we start with the grammar. And at the very back, I also actually have kanji that I'm starting to learn. I'm learning kanji, memorizing some of the radicals and what they normally mean, if they're standalone, if they're not standalone, the like. So I have this little folder that really helps me with that, and I really like the folder, to be honest. That is it for today. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and leave a comment. Arigatou gozaimasu!